Welcome to Femme Fusion Fitness, your home for core and pelvic floor friendly fitness and yoga. Today's video is for anyone who carries tension in the pelvic area or for anyone dealing with pelvic discomfort from conditions including, but not limited to, tailbone pain, fleeting rectal pain, pudendal neuralgia, or painful sex, which is often a result of vulvodynia or vaginismus. This video is not meant to be used as a standalone treatment, but it's a great addition to your regular care. Please visit my blog and the web address is listed, particularly if you have pudendal neuralgia. And as always, please stop if anything causes you pain or doesn't feel right in your body in any way. For this video, you will need 2 blocks, you'll need to wear something comfortable, and you'll need a wall nearby for the end. Let's go ahead and get started. Come down onto your mat and we will begin on our back, lying down, just focusing on the breath. So I like to place my hands on my low abdomen and I'll show you the position that I have my fingers in. My thumbs are touching and my index fingers are touching as well. Forms a little triangle. And if you place this on the area that we're really focusing on, our low abdomen and our pelvic area, it's really a nice way to bring awareness and attention to this part of your body. Lower your shoulders away from your ears. Wiggle them underneath you. In the inset picture, I'm showing you an alternate position. So you can have your knees flopped apart and your thighs supported on yoga blocks if that's comfortable, kind of a butterfly position. Or you can be like I am in the bigger picture, which is my feet wide and my knees dropping together. So just do whatever is comfortable for you. Now focus on the breath. Start to really slow and deepen your breathing. Think of expanding your inhale down into your low belly, your pelvic area, and your ribs. Think of, as you breathe in, your ribs widening out to the sides, to the back, filling the lowest part of your lungs with air. And then as you exhale, you'll feel your belly fall and your pelvic floor slightly lift. One or two more nice, deep, slow breaths. Breathing down into your pelvic floor, breathing into the lowest part of your lungs, expanding your lower ribs, expanding your belly, and then exhaling it all out. Carefully bring your knees back together if you had the knees on blocks. And just hug your knees into your chest, and we're going to go right into some nice knee circles here. So I like to call this stirring the pot. You're swirling your knees around, nice big circles, just loosening up the hip joints, getting everything lubed up and ready for the movement that we have ahead. Finish up hugging the knees to the chest and then straighten the legs out in front of you, and we're going to go right into a banana stretch. So shift your hips to the right and then walk your feet all the way over to the left side of your mat. Now the idea is I want you to feel a stretch in the right side of your body. If you can, shift your shoulders to the left side of your mat as well. So your body's in a nice curve, kind of like a standing side bend or a half moon or a banana. So keep your shoulders on the floor if you can. Try not to let your right ribs pop up off the floor or your low back pop up too much off the floor. And if you can, cross your right leg over your left. So again, it's like you're a banana lying flat on the ground with your feet toward the left side of your mat and your head and shoulders moving toward the left side of your mat as well. Sink into this stretch. Really feel your side ribs releasing, the muscles between them opening, that diaphragm area releasing, so you can really start breathing more fully. If this is too much for you and you don't like the way it feels in your back, then look at the inset picture. You can experiment. Still keep the side bend in your upper part of your body, but you can play with crossing one leg over the other, play with foot position. Just see what feels good. The idea is you want to keep your shoulders on the ground and you want to feel that expansion and stretch in the right side of your body, your right side ribs. And you just want to relax into it. We're going to hang out here for just a little bit longer, so keep breathing. In the inset picture, you can see that my knees are now together, just experimenting with a different leg position. In the bottom picture, the big picture now, you see that I am just relaxed and sinking into this stretch. Prepare to come out of the banana stretch by shifting your head back to the middle of the mat and then bending up your legs and shifting everything so you're centered on the mat again. I like to lift my hips a few times just to find center. Bring your knees up to your chest and you can rock them, pull them in, do some more hip circle swirls here, stirring the pot with your legs. Lubing up the hip joints, breathing deeply. Hug those knees in, pulse them in, stretching out the buttocks. And then now we'll straighten the legs again and move to the other side. So now your hips are going to shift to the left and your legs move to the right side of your yoga mat, the right edge. Now shift your head and shoulders to the right edge of your yoga mat as well. So you're in that nice banana position again. Banana curved the other way, or a half moon. And just like before, if you feel like you can, if it's not a strain, then cross the left leg over the right. Breathe deeply and sink into this stretch, feeling the side ribs opening up, the space between the ribs opening up. Feel that your low back is not arching off the floor. You want to move your hips toward the floor and you want to prevent a strong arch in your low back. So try to keep everything on the ground. In the inset picture again, I'm showing you an alternative. If you just aren't feeling this position, if it's not working for you, then try keeping the side bend with your upper body, but maybe bending up your legs. You can try crossing one leg over the other, your left leg over your right, or just dropping the knees together, feet wide. Regardless of what position you choose, try to feel that nice side stretch in between the side ribs, the lengthening of the side body, and just relax. These stretches that we're starting with are a really nice way to open up the side body and the side outer hips before we move on to the stronger openings that are going to be focused more on the inner thigh and groin and pelvic floor areas. So just one or two more deep breaths. Now prepare to come out of the banana stretch. Bring your legs back up to the middle, shift your shoulders and head back to the middle of your mat. And you can lift your hips a few times just to recenter yourself and then pull the knees up to the chest. Swirl the knees around one more time, stirring the pot. Keep going. And now pull the right knee toward your chest and straighten the left leg. You can have your left leg bent at the knee a little bit, or you can really push through that left straight leg heel and really feel a nice deep hip flexor stretch on your left side and a buttocks stretch on your right side. You can have your hands clasped around your right shin or under your right thigh, as I'm showing now. Breathe deeply, and this is a really nice way, a nice massage for your ascending colon. Stimulates digestion. If you have any problems with bowel regularity, this can be a really nice stretch. Now, circle out that knee gently. So just use your hands to kind of guide that bent leg in circles. And we're gonna switch sides. So now your left knee pulls into your chest and your right leg straightens out. It can be bent slightly at the knee or straighten it all the way, pressing through the right heel. You can hold on around your left shin or under your left thigh. Pull that knee up to your chest gently, feeling a stretch in the left buttocks and stimulation of the left part of the colon, which is descending. Again, focusing on digestion. This is a really nice way to stimulate sluggish digestion if that's a problem for you. You're also going to feel this stretch in the front of your right hip, in the right hip flexor area. So just a couple more breaths. And then use both hands to guide that knee and that bent leg around in some little hip circles. Once again, circling things around, keeping things moving, and then hug both knees to your chest. Again, you can hold on around your shins or under your thighs. Both knees pull in and then press out gently. So press out into your hands. Not strong, but just a gentle press outward. This decompresses your spine. Holding that press outward, thighs pressing out against your hands. And then exhale and pull the knees gently into your chest. Maybe this time you can pull them in a little further and actually clasp around your shins. Feel this stretch in the back of your buttocks, both sides, in your low back. And again, another great stretch for digestion. Now, prepare to move into either a frog stretch. As shown here, you're gonna reach through between your legs and hold on to the outside of your feet or the outside of your ankles. So just let your knees come apart and we're starting to open up and stretch the inner thigh, groin area, and the pelvic floor. You can also move into happy baby. If this is a pose that you have done before, happy baby looks like this. You're still grasping the outer edges of your feet. Your feet are pressing up toward the ceiling, and you're opening your legs apart from one another. Think of lengthening your spine and your tailbone down toward the floor. You can also move into single leg stretches with happy baby, straightening one leg and then straightening the other. This is a pretty deep hamstring stretch, so you'll definitely feel this in the back of your legs. Remember that if this is not something you want to do right now, that's fine. Just do regular happy baby or that first frog pose stretch that I showed, where your legs are simply just flopped apart and you're holding on to the outside of your feet. Go back and forth one more time between sides if you're stretching one leg at a time in happy baby. And then come into the regular happy baby. Again, lengthening your tailbone toward the floor. And now we're going to come into a nice outer hip stretch. So bring your knees into your chest briefly, then cross your left leg over your right so that your left foot is just on your right thigh. Now you can start with your right foot on the ground and you can press into your left thigh, inner thigh area to feel that stretch in that outer left hip, or you can thread the needle. So your hands will wrap around your right thigh, holding on behind the thigh, and you can pull that knee toward your chest and just breathe. Again, feeling the stretch in the outer left hip. Now, carefully, you're gonna bring your legs as a unit down toward the right and press with your right hand against your left inner thigh. So the top leg, inner thigh, you press against that to feel a nice stretch. This is a really nice twist. And you'll feel this opening the hip and the back in a really great way. Try to keep both shoulders on the floor, and you can look away from the way your legs are. So you can look to the left if that feels good, or just look up at the ceiling. Again, feeling that opening in your hips. And now come out of it very carefully. Carefully come out of it, pull the knees into the chest gently, and we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So now your right leg crosses over your left, and again, you can be up like this, or you can have your left foot now on the floor, as shown. Just do what feels right for you. You're gonna feel this in the right outer hip. I'm showing now in the big picture, clasping around the back of my left thigh, and just holding this. You want to again feel this in the outer right hip, in the buttocks area, and now we're going to add that twist. So both legs drop as a unit down toward the left. Press against the top leg, inner thigh, so you feel an opening in the hip. Try to keep both shoulders on the ground, and you can look up toward the ceiling or you can look your head to the right. Move around, wiggle around, and get comfortable in this. You might need to move your legs up or down a little bit. You might need to, again, look up toward the ceiling or try looking to the right. Just see what works for you. Ease into this opening of your hips. Now, carefully come out of the position. Again, you can hug those knees into your chest and prepare to rock yourself up, or roll through your side is even better. So roll through your side, push up, and come onto your hands and knees. We're gonna do a brief cat and cow. So cat-cow stretch. Your knees are under your hips and your feet are pointed straight back behind you. Hands are under your shoulders, fingers spread nice and wide. And I want you to inhale, look forward, exhale, round your spine, tuck your tailbone under. You can make this motion as small or as big as you want and just go with your own breath pattern. I'm just gonna do about 3 or 4 rounds of cat and cow pose, loosening up the spine, bringing mobility, and really feel your sitting bones shining apart, widening apart, and opening your pelvic floor as you go into that cow position right now. Finish up this round. And we're gonna stay on the hands and knees now and crawl the hands forward into puppy pose. Your hips are right over your knees. And this is another one where it's really nice to feel the sitting bones widening apart and your pelvic floor opening. Now I'm showing here how my forearms are actually crossed and my forehead is resting on my forearms. But you can also have your arms out in front of you. If you want, you can also place a block, a yoga block, or a blanket, or a towel under your forehead just to prop it up a little bit if this is too much of a stretch for your shoulders. Breathe deeply, again, really feeling the sitting bones widening apart. And now prepare to come out of this pose. You're going to walk your hands back up under your shoulders, tuck your toes under, and very gently, one knee at a time, lift up your hips toward the sky into a mini downward dog, and then walk your feet forward, tiptoeing your feet forward and breathing the whole way. Now come to a wide-legged position, a wide-legged forward fold. You can absolutely have blocks under your hands, which I'll show in just a minute. But no matter what you're doing, I want you to have your toes pointed inward toward each other. Your heels are a little wider apart. So toes in, heels out. Shine your sitting bones up toward the ceiling, and if you'd like to, try reaching forward with your hands. That can allow you to kind of pull back with your hips a bit. Or you can have blocks under your hands with your spine straight. That's a better option if you're tight through the hamstrings. This is a very deep opening stretch for your inner thigh and groin area. I'm just showing you another option here with your hands on the ground. Again, hands can be on the ground, on blocks, or reaching out in front of you as your hips reach back just a little bit. See what works for your body. Now, if you'd like to join me in a twist, I'm walking both hands over toward my left side, and I'm holding on to my outer foot and my ankle. So I'm holding on to my outer foot and ankle, grounding into my feet, really pressing down into my outer edge of my foot. Your head can rest on your shoulder and upper arm. And holding on as you feel that deep inner thigh and side stretch. Now I'm walking back through the middle, looking forward, lengthening the spine, exhale, fold, and then walk hands to the other side. So again, holding on to the outer foot and ankle and grounding down into the foot and the outer edge of that foot so that you don't lose your balance. Your head can rest in the cradle of your arm. And then prepare to walk your hands back to the middle. Inhale, lengthen your spine, look forward, and then exhale, fold again. Now, you are going to come down onto your knees. And at this point, I'm going to have you mirror me. So be a mirror to me. So left leg out to the side, your left foot is pointed straight ahead, right foot is behind you. You might want to have a yoga block handy for this. It can be on the highest height or the lowest height like I'm showing, but use it for support. And side bend, so feel a reach. You want to reach your arm out to the side or straight up toward the ceiling, what works for you. But feel that you're reaching arm and hand away from the outer edge of that left foot. Reaching and lengthening that entire side of your body. You can look down at the ground or forward at me. Lean your head and your heart slightly back. Keep reaching and lengthening that entire side of your body. Now bring your hand up to your hip and carefully bring the hand that was on the block down to the floor. So your right hand is on the floor, your left hand is on your hip, left leg is still straight out to the side, but you're going to thread the needle. So thread that left arm underneath the right side, underneath the right arm. The right arm is bent up and the left arm is threading underneath. Feel this deep shoulder stretch and an inner thigh stretch too. So you should feel this in your left inner thigh. Your head can be resting on a pillow or a block or a cushion. And if at any time this is not comfortable for you, then you can feel free to come out of the pose and just sit back on your heels and rest. One more deep breath in this position, and then carefully come out. Again, sit back on your heels briefly, hands on your hips, elbows pointed out to the side. And just take a moment to breathe and feel. Keep your eyes closed and lengthen your breaths. Deepen your breaths. Now move your block to the other side and let's get ready to do the same hip opening position on the other side. So now your right leg is straight out to the side, foot flat on the mat, foot pointed forward, and your bent knee foot is straight out behind you. So come down onto that yoga block. Your arm can be straight up toward the sky or you can reach it over so you're really in a nice extended side angle stretch. Lean your shoulder and heart back just a little bit so you're really opening through the heart, stretching through the side body. Think of lengthening foot away from hand. So really press into that foot of the right leg, the straight leg, and reach through your fingertips. Your head can be looking down toward the ground or you can be looking at me. Keep breathing, keep opening, lengthening that side body, lengthening your inner thigh, your groin area. opening your heart, leaning your head and heart slightly back. And now hand on your hip, and very carefully, the hand that was on the block, put it on the floor. And then thread the needle. So your right arm is going under your left arm, and really feel that shoulder stretch, the back of your shoulder. Of course, you're also going to feel this deeply in the inner thigh, especially on the side of the leg that is straight out to the side. So your right leg, if you're mirroring me. Remember that your head can be on a block or a folded blanket or a cushion. And if it's too much, always remember you can just come out of it and sit on your heels. Come out of this position slowly and gently, hands in front of you, knees together, but then widen your knees apart, keeping your feet together, but knees nice and wide. And reach your hands forward into this wide-kneed child's pose. So your knees are wide and your feet are together. If this feels pinching in your low back or it's uncomfortable, then try bringing your knees a little bit closer. But if you can have the knees apart and that feels good for you, then take some nice deep breaths in this position, wiggling into it and really feeling that deep hip stretch. We're going to move into legs up the wall pose. So carefully and gently come up and find a wall nearby. You're going to want to sit right up next to it. I like to sidle up next to it with my hips. And then walk your legs up the wall, bring them up the wall. Feet can be apart or together, and shift your body so that everything is straight and in line. We're going to take 6 to 8 deep, slow breaths in this really nice pose that brings blood flow to the pelvic area, brings circulation, energy to the pelvic region. Turn your palms up so they're facing the ceiling. And again, really just deepen and lengthen the breaths. Prepare to come out of legs up the wall pose. Walk your feet down the wall. Bring your hips down to the side. Roll through your side and come back to your yoga mat. Find center. So you might need to lift your hips up a few times, rock your pelvis a little bit, just get comfortable. And then straighten one leg at a time, legs nice and wide, and arms spread apart, palms up toward the sky. If you'd prefer to have your legs in a butterfly position, I'll show you that in the inset picture. I definitely recommend supporting your thighs on yoga blocks or cushions, either with your hands on your low pelvis in that same position we started with, or your hands flopped out to the sides. Take the time to really integrate everything that you just did in this practice as you breathe deeply in our final resting pose. This pose is not to be skipped, so I'm going to let you stay here. I will bring you back in about 1 more minute, but I really encourage you to not stop the video right now. Breathe and relax. Begin to deepen and lengthen your breath. Come back into the present moment, wiggling your fingers and your toes. And then roll onto your side. Take a moment to just cradle your head on your arms. And when you're ready to push yourself up to a seated position, please do so. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has really helped you with your pelvic discomfort. You can do this video as often as once a day, as long as it keeps your symptoms feeling better and not worse. Always listen to your body, and it's a great idea to always work with a qualified healthcare practitioner who can help you individually. Please subscribe to my channel, and until next time, remember, eat clean, move every day, and you will shine brighter.